Hey guys, I wanted to take a look at this article that I found with you guys because it deals with Gina Carano and her role in The Mandalorian season 3, which we know is no role because she was let go in 2021. Um, but what this article goes through is Rick Famuyiwa, I hope I'm saying that correctly, and Dave Filoni speaking up for the first time about Gina Carano's firing from The Mandalorian after playing the role of Cara Dune. So this is really interesting to me because as we're coming up on season 3, I really want to know what are they going to do to explain Cara Dune's absence, because in the first 2 seasons she was a really important character to Grogu and the Mandalorian story. So to have her just be gone, it's going to require a really good reason for her to be gone. So while Dune is still part of the world off camera, Famuyiwa explains that the character came up often in discussions with show creator Jon Favreau and Filoni, making it clear that Din Djarin and Grogu are still at the heart of the show. Cara was a big part and continues as a character to be part of the world. It had to be addressed in the creative, and Jon Favreau took the time to think about that. It was something that was discussed as we knew it was going to have an impact on the show, but at the same time, what has been at the heart of the show are the two characters, Din Djarin and Grogu. So ultimately, it felt like servicing of that and around Mandalorians. When asked if Dune is simply out in the universe bounty hunting, Filoni explained that there are so many characters to touch on, but he called Dune a great character and someone who was vital to Din Djarin's beginnings. Okay, so there's still more of the article to go, but it kind of seems like so far they're just taking the stance that she's moved on, she's doing something else, she served a purpose in the first 2 seasons, and now it's time to make room for other characters. It's a big galaxy and we have many characters in it. Many characters are fighting for their screen time. We'll just have to see as the season unfolds what the adventures are, but it's a great character, someone who was vital to Din Djarin's beginnings. We'll see if he has evolved beyond that. They keep saying it that way. She was a great character, vital to his beginnings. Filoni moved further into season 3 by touching on how many Mandalorians will play a part in the story, noting that there are characters that take a lot more prominence when it comes to Mando and Grogu's story. Okay, different way of saying that, like he's moved on. Now, season 3 is mainly dealing with Mandalorians and the Mandalorian saga, the Mandalorian tale. Different characters he met since Bo-Katan who take a lot more prominence, which makes sense where his arc is going, the story of him and Grogu specifically. When asked whether fans had called for Gina Carano to return, Filoni simply said, "It's a great character," there it is again, and explained how many requests he gets for all types of characters in the story. And while he didn't name Carano specifically, he explained that the hardest part of it is finding time and space for everyone out there. George Lucas used to talk about when he was making the prequels, he had so many great characters and they all wanted screen time. How do you do it when your job is to tell the story of Anakin Skywalker? I relate to that. That's interesting. So far, he's really leaning on the idea that Cara Dune played an important role in the first 2 seasons, but Mando's story has grown past that. I don't know how I feel about that response. I get where he's coming from. It makes sense. At this point in the Mandalorian story, we've got to make room for characters like Bo-Katan and any other Mandos that he's going to meet, especially in season 3 as he goes to Mandalore. I get that we've got to make room for that, and I think that my issue here is that it's still kind of dancing around the heart of the issue, which people are wondering, okay, so what are you going to do to explain that Gina Carano is not coming back and her character is not going to be seen again? That's what we want to see, is a good explanation there, and really just acknowledging that that's going to be an elephant in the room, instead of just dancing around it by saying, well, we've got to make room for other characters. Well, it's time for Mando to interact with other characters in his story, which I don't disagree with. I just think that we need to, address the elephant in the room. So it kind of continues on. Gina Carano's situation still difficult for Star Wars. Rick Famuyiwa, I Really hope I'm saying that right, and Dave Filoni haven't had an easy time handling the situation as the company was forced to write out a pivotal. Okay, so now we're talking about it. Write out a pivotal supporting character from a quickly expanding story. She's even seen support from a couple of her co stars over the past few years, yeah? This becomes even more difficult as Famuyiwa and Filoni have gotten requests from a number of fans to bring Dune back, with her character last seen in Chapter 16 as Mark Hamill made his highly celebrated return as Luke Skywalker. That was over 2 years ago. That's crazy to me that Luke Skywalker returned in that way. That's wow. Time flies. Without without Carano, season 3 will look to further expand the story and delve deeper into Star Wars past, including bringing the narrative to Coruscant from the prequel trilogy. I'm really excited to see Coruscant. My first like major Star Wars movie was my mom and siblings all having a big movie night where we had a big tray of snacks and everything, and my mom showing us Star Wars. And we started with episode 1. So Coruscant was a super cool, intriguing planet to me. And then if you ever played the Jedi Power Battles game, I loved the episode where you're on Coruscant. So that was, yeah, I love anytime we can return back to Coruscant. It's such a big planet to me, but also it's an important planet in Star Wars. Anyways, returning to Coruscant, there will also be plenty of other huge reveals that remain hidden in the shadows for the time being. Okay. Hopefully helping to give fans something new and exciting to celebrate as Cara Dune moves into off-screen adventures. Okay, so they're confirming that the way they're dealing with her is she's off doing other adventures, and they'll probably mention that. So, okay. It's going to feel a little awkward that way. But as long as they're able to handle why she's gone and mention her in a good way that explains it in a reasonable way, I think it'll be okay. And while I don't love the explanation of like, hey, we got to make room for other characters, and I mentioned that I don't love the way that they're dancing around it, but I also agree that they do need to make room for other characters. So it's kind of a tricky situation. It's a bummer that her character is not going to be a part of the show because she was awesome, but at the same time, it is time to look forward. If you've been paying attention at all, there's been different articles and interviews with Jon Favreau basically saying that this is not even halfway for the Mandalorian story. So in the grand scheme of things, a character that was around for 2 seasons, let's say Mandalorian goes for 6 to 8 seasons. I'm not sure I want it to do that, but let's say it does that because Jon Favreau certainly seems to be hinting at something like that. But in the grand scheme of things, a character that was around for 2 seasons out of 6 to 8 being gone isn't the biggest deal on the planet, especially because they are making way and making room for new characters and new stories. So, anyways, well, that kind of confirms what's happening with Gina Carano and Cara Dune. She's off doing other adventures off screen. So, let me know what you think of that in the comments below. And it is time for Mandalorian Season 3. By the time I upload this, it will be Tuesday morning. So we'll have the watch party later that day, and which is tomorrow. So later tomorrow night, we'll have the watch party and we'll stream it together. Well, yeah, we'll stream it all together. We'll watch it. We'll chat about it, and then I'll get some breakdowns. It's gonna be a late night for me. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video or if you found any value in it, be sure to hit the like button. It really does help the channel. I've been sharing that my goal by the end of the year is to hit 20,000 subscribers. And we're getting really close to 9,000. So if you haven't subscribed and you'd like to stay up to date on what this channel is doing, be sure to do that. I really do want this to be a little Star Wars corner of the galaxy. I mean, it's literally, we're in a corner of my room, but I really do want this to be a Star Wars community that can enjoy talking about The Mandalorian, enjoy talking about what's happening in Star Wars, because I think that is one of the most fun parts of this Star Wars fandom is the ability to get to talk and theorize together online and, face to face too. But right now we're in an online context. So be sure to subscribe so that you can be a part of that growing community. I'll catch you in the next video, which will be the watch party. So have a great rest of your day, and may the force be with you.